welcome back. Now in this video we talked about the addition icon. So now in this video we're talking about adding. So you're just trying to add using the plus. Okay, the second one that is for you to save. You're trying to save your project or save it as image. So just save it to your document that will be on the app or maybe as an image. So this is just basically how it's going to work. We're going to talk more about this. If you're trying to share as well, is just going to do something similar. It's like saving as well. You can save it to your gallery, you can share directly. We're going to talk more about this. So now that saving we're going to talk more about this later. Now you can add quotes. So there are some quotes, or maybe you want to be motivated. Don't fight the problem. Don't fight the problem. Decide it. So we have a lot of quotes. If you are looking for motivation, so only the educated are free. Only the educated are free. You want to now you want to bring it to what you are working on. Let me assume we just let's assume we need this. Yeah, we want to work on a quote. So we are working on a flyer for a quote. Now we also have another icon. The topmost menu bar. So just play around. You can export your image. You can open PLP file. There are going to be tutorials on how to open PLP file. Image sizing. We are going to do that very soon. Export image. Use of image from camera. So full screen. All these things. They are going to be classes. I don't want to go deeper into them now. Most of them might not really be needed at the beginning, but the image size is very much needed. Now we discover we have aspect ratio 1280 by 1280. I think these size are in pixels. Now you can customize your size. You want it to be in square, profile picture, YouTube thumbnail. In the previous video I mentioned something about YouTube thumbnails. That is 16:9. So 16:9. So this is how thumbnails work. Just play around. You want to customize it. Maybe I want this thing to be in 4:5 or 1020 by 12. Let me try 1280. No. Probably 2200 by 250. Yeah, this is 4:5. Just play around. Now we have the icon to undo. You know what we added? You can undo. But the funny thing about these Pixellab that you cannot redo what you undo.
You can't redo what you've undone.
So you can't redo it. So now for you to zoom your Canva, the screen is very, very small. Sometimes you need to maybe work on something minute. So you just need to zoom it, and the maximum zooming is at 500%. So you can zoom. So when you just off that zooming button, you can edit, play around things. When you want to zoom it back on it, zoom it back. That's all. And there's another thing, very important thing we're making use of as time goes on in this tutorial. That is the use of grid tool. So we have different kind of grid tool. Everything is divided into how many? It's divided into 16 columns. There are 16 columns, 6 lines. So now you can edit it, you can move it just any way you want it to move. Basically, the major reason for this is for you to align your work. It's going to help you in aligning your work, maybe to the left hand side, to the right hand side. So now this one is going to give you room for opportunities for you to know how to manage your space. It's not like it's not normal for you to be working like writing something around the edges. So just for you to be able to be conscious of how to maximize your Canva, it's going to help you. If you want to add to it, the addition button, the vertical one, you have the horizontal one. So just remove it. So moving the position as well. So you can move it, you can undo. You can the number of verticals. If you want to change the number of verticals as well, you can just change the number of verticals if you want to. Let's want to do maybe 6x6. 6x6. We are good to go. So that's 6x6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 7, that is 49 columns. So let's undo. Okay, you don't need this. Let's off it back. The set the one that look like settings. So that's what is used to edit it. So if you off it, you can do work on the Canva without the put it to moving, without it moving. So you can off it. Now this second part is that's the one for layer. Okay, let's add another thing. Let's see whether we can add another code. Yeah, you can see add another. Let's try adding another. No. Okay, we have about three different things on the Canva now. So we are trying to add to it. So now we have different layers, about three layers, three things are on the Canva. So this is what the last one is meant for, just for you to know which layer you are working on. So if you want to work on the topmost part, this next one, the last one. Now maybe sometimes you are maybe trying to manipulate the background and the backgrounds overlapped. So you can use this layer icon to navigate through, like highlight the one you want to work on. So that's how it works. So now let's move on to the icon underneath. Now the menu bar at the bottommost part, I say there are five in number, but above them there are area for your project. Yeah, for your project. Now when we change T, but those things at topmost parts, I personally prefer to call them option bars because they are the changes. Those icons, okay, you see different kind of boxes at the topmost part of the five icons. They are something like options bar because they change as you change the icon underneath. So let's change it to the one for A, which means test. So objects, layers. I mean, just like as we're just changing it, so these changes. So that's all about it. Now for the first one, these are the projects. My projects. Okay, the project I've worked on. So I have various kind of project I've worked on here. So now, oh, I'm going to talk more about. Okay, these are some of the projects I've worked on. Now the PPL file, all files from Pixellab. This is like additional information. Pixellab, all their files are called PLP. If you are dealing with Photoshop, that is using PC, it's PSP. So this one is PLP. So if you want to share, there is going to be a course on how to share to export your file. Maybe you change your phone, you are trying to move your documents on another phone. Yeah, you can do that on Pixellab as well. You can do that on PC, you can do that on Pixellab. So maybe you are trying to change maybe just like when you change your phone, you want to get to like move some of your important projects to the new phone you are working on. So you can go about that later. So now um let's play around the one for test. This area for test, these are options bars. You can use it to format your test. So majorly, okay, the first style is let's leave that style. We're going to come back to that later. So the first one is for you to edit. I mean, the second one is for you to edit. Uh, this one I'm suspending some because like this is basically introductions and you might not need most of the things I'm talking about. But when you really are about to use them, we are going to explain more. So you are trying to just like edit the text. You don't want to add more. I don't know what to write. So just write anything. Okay, you want to duplicate everything, select, cut, paste it. Oh sorry, redo. Then we can see paste it again. Paste. Okay, paste. Okay, paste. So now you can change all the text here to what's it called? There are little ways you can go about this. You discover that all the first letters they start with a capital letter. But there's one icon at the topmost part here. Beside that delete icon, we have three things at the topmost part. That one for text, we are going to see a bigger one and a smaller one. The delete icon, cancel, okay. You can change everything to smaller case and uppercase, smaller case. So you won't be able to change it to the intermediary. Sometimes we have some first letter starts with a capital letter sometimes, and the other parts are going to be small letter. You can't change that one, but everything's lowercase, everything's uppercase. You can give about that. So okay, so we have this what we have. But we can also undo it. So like let's undo what we have. Okay, this is what we okay, these are former stuff. You can try and delete using this icon. Let's undo it. You can copy, to duplicate it. Let's undo it. Now we are still working on this. Ensure the text we are working on is highlighted if you are dealing with text. So you can move it to the front. Assuming we have different kind of shapes now. Okay. I know how to explain this better. Oh, let me change the color to blue. Oh, this one to red. I'm going to explain this. I'm going to explain the color changing later. I'm just trying to do something. Oh, still not visible. What I'm trying to work on. Let me deal with shape then. Let me bring in a new shape. I think I've explained how to go about shape, so this is a new shape. Now, this shape is covering everything. There's a way to bring that one back, but I'm not dealing with that now. Let me explain that of text. Oh, let me take it back. Now, this is my text. I can bring the text to the front. Yeah, to the front, to the back, to the front, to the back, to the front, to the back. The same way we can do, like you can highlight the shape as well and with the shape. I'm going to explain that as well. So now you can move. Okay, let me bring it to the back, to the front. You can move the position. You can shift it to the move it by pixels, 16 pixels. You can like just change it 1 pixels to pixels. So you can move it anywhere you want to move it to instead of moving it manually. Maybe you are trying to be careful with it. Now remember that one, that's your position. Have a relative position. Relative position just deals with about 6 sides. So it can be center. It's going to be center vertically, center horizontally, maybe to the right, vertically to the right, horizontally. Now just press center vertically. It's going to center it vertically, like at the center vertically. Horizontally now at the center. So equal space, there will be equal space at the horizontal, from the text to the topmost part, from the text to the bottommost part. This one to the right, to the left, to the bottom, and to the topmost part. So these are relative positions, how they work. Now size, if you are trying to change the size, I want to extend it. So this is how you talk to go about it, and you can do that manually. Yeah, but you may not have some freedoms. Okay. Discover that as I'm increasing it's increasing, like the stuff is increasing at the bottommost part. You are seeing the values are changing. So that's all about this. Let me just increase the size to something visible. Okay. Now padding. So we are trying to shift now. Before I pad anything, let me just size a little bit. Yeah. Center it. Now the way padding work is that you just notice the space at the left hand side now in front of you. As I'm increasing the padding, it will be increasing. The spacing will be increasing. The same thing goes with right padding as well. Check that R around that never. That O. That's how padding works. So just like to increase the size from the edges. It's going to be within the same text box, but it's just going to increase the size, maybe for you to adjust the size. So that's how padding works. Now color, something similar to what we did with the shape the other time. You can change my default color is gray, so you can change it to what's it called, black now. Any color you want to. Let's prefer black. Now there's a way you can select a portion. You just can't beat the person who never gives up. Let me work on beats. No, let me try and analyze. Maybe assuming there's an emphasis on beats. Let me change the color of beats to something like red. And gives up. Okay, never. Maybe there's an emphasis on never as well. The same color. Let's change this one to white. So there's a way you can play around. This is sorry. This is a section I want to work on. So just a section I want to work on. If I want to highlight everything, okay, this is the part I want to work on. So this is how the color works. Also with gradients. So the last gradient we talked about why editing shape, explaining shape. So you have the kind of gradient here. discover that the color varies from red to blue to black. So you won't be able to see this one because of the background. Yeah, yeah, you can see how everything is changing. The color, different colors mixed up. It's mixed up different color. So that's how gradients work. That's how color works. Now, come in. So that's okay. What else? I don't with color. Now let's talk about texture. I think I have some shape I can work with. Uh, Let me increase the size for it to be obvious. Okay, now this is it. This is what we're working on now. So ensure you highlight it while you're working on it. Ensure you highlight it. Now, to increase it, to change the adjust the texture. What texture means like you are placing something on top of the text. So just like the surface, you want it to be smooth, you want it to be tall or rough. Look, I think I have some rough background somewhere. Uh, okay, let me use this. Cool. As if I want to put this background on top of my text, the texture is not really showing, it's not really appearing. But depends. Like sometimes you want to make your text look so like not to be smooth. You can just make use of a shape that is not an object that is not smooth, a background that is not smooth. Just add it using that texture button. If you want to delete your texture stuff, you can delete it. So if you want to add another, let's try whether we can add another. Even let's try and work on this. Oh, something I was work on here. Okay. You see the variance in the color, something like gradient as well, because of the parts I cropped. So that's how it works. You can play around it. Opacity, you want to make it lighter, like transparent. That's when we talk about transparency and translucence, like to make it transparent or translucent. So it's transparent now, we will see it. It's now opaque. So if assuming you are dealing with shadow, maybe there is shadow there, you want it to affect the shadow as well. Okay, let's just change the shadow now. I will explain this shadow when I get there. Let's go back to our opacity. Look at something now. You discover that the shadow is still there. We want it to affect the shadow. The shadow also disappears. So this is how it works. So now to rotate, you can rotate 360 degree, like that is minus 180 to plus 180. So now you can also play around without using this rotation tool. You see the curve symbol around the text box. You can use it to just rotate it anyhow. Now we also have mask tool. So this mask tool is just for you to delete parts of it. Okay, let me cancel. Let me undo. Yeah. So let me go back to my mask. Let's try a mask. Now I'm trying to erase this part. I don't want this to be visible. So that's what masking does. So just play around it. So the inner part, the inner part is showing, the outermost part is not. This time around, the inner part is not showing. So that's how it works. Just play around it. Sometimes you might not even need this stuff. So just trying to add more to it. So add more to it. Subtract, remove it, duplicate it as well. So that's how it works. So this is why we're trying to remove the edges. Trying to remove it. So just play around. The size, the scaling is also there. So just play around. When you're working on this Pixellab, ensure you play around some stuff. So the more you work around it, the more familiar you become to it. Most of these you might not be using it now But this masking tool will be very much needed when you are dealing with masking image into shape. So you might need it. We're trying to mask it, and you want to maybe a part of the shape to be showing outside, one part to be showing inside. So we are going to talk about that one as well. So that's all. Okay, let me undo. That's all about masking. Now fonts, there are different kind of fonts. You can work with different kind of fonts. Like there are some default fonts. Me personally, I've added some fonts, so I have my fonts here, my collections here. So I have a lot of fonts. This font are over 500 fonts. Yeah, a tutorial will be shown on, like, you're going to see a tutorial on how to add fonts. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. So different kind of fonts. Personally, I prefer using Poppins. I love using Poppins. A common font, common one. So let's continue to use Poppins. Let's change the font to Poppin. Yeah, this is our color. So now, you can change the style. You want to be bold. This one, like I use the Poppins I use is a font family. I can italicize it. Bold, it won't be bold again because the font family, part of the font family I use is a bolded version. Like the one has been bolded. So you can cancel you can underline and you can cancel everything. So if you want to just work on a fewer section, maybe I want to italicize per person, underline person. So that's how it works. Just something similar to that of color. So that's how style works. You want to curve it, yeah. Maybe you are trying to curve a text around something, so that is how this one works. So this is how it works. Bend it. Everything is in 1% form, so just undo. Now undo, yeah. Now move on to the background. You want to change the color of the background, yeah. So you want to change the color, okay, assuming you want the background to be red. Red is not okay to me. I don't like that red. Let me use yellow. It's not giving me the what I want. But anyhow, just play around the stuff. So now you want to change the color of the background to background of the text box to using gradient as well. You can mix up gradient. Just play around it. Play gradient. Anyhow. So this is okay. Let me undo it. Before I undo, let's try and align. There are basically 3 types of alignment. There are 3: to the left, to the right. Sorry, to the left, to the right, to the center. So it's aligning to the right, but you discover that the spacing, the padding we increase at that time is not making the text to shift to the right hand side. So now you can justify it at the center. What justification means is like just like everything's going to shift to the same edge. Let's try and reduce the padding. Where is the padding back? Yeah, this is the padding. Let's change to 0. So cool. This is okay. Now back to our alignment to the left, to the right. Now justify it's at the center now. It's aligned to this, centrally aligned. So justify it. Discover that the edges are now like it starts from this. Those are around the left hand side, on the left hand side. Even you can align it to the right, to the left, and they still remain justified. So that's how it works. Undo it. What next? Then we have what is it called? Spacing. You want to space letter spacing, word spacing. Between the letters, you can space it between words. See, just like the words are the one space, like there are spaces in between the words, so that's how it works. Now the line spacing, it's going to be vertically. It's going to be vertically. You can reduce it to negative spacing to positive one. So I think that's all about that. Then we move on to stroke. I think I mentioned stroke while we are dealing with shape. Just for you to add outline to the stuff. This is a black outline. You can increase the width of the stroke. You can change the color to white. I think this one is better. Let's reduce the spacing back so for us to have something okay. Now that's how stroke works. Then the shadow. You discover, okay, do you see it? The text popped out when we added shadow. So black shadow, red shadow, just any color, depending on the work what you are working on. That's one of the things you have to take note of. So now you have inner shadow. For you to add shadow to the inner part, like the other one is outer shadow. The inner shadow, you discover that it becomes darker. The inside text, like the text inside, becomes darker. So you want to make add red shadow to it to becomes like more of red stuff. So you can blur radius. Even like you discover everything now turns to red because of the shadow inside the text. So maybe to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right. That is offset. That is on x-axis, vertical axis, moving up and down. So just play around. Now embossment stuff, there are three tricks to this embossment stuff. It's not work for this. Let me try using the second one. So let's try and emboss. Let me change the font back to popping. Cool. Now let's try and emboss. Where's an embossment? Okay. Do you discover any changes? It becomes more vibrant, more it becomes more smoother. Oh my god, how do I do this? Do you see it? Can you see the embossment stuff now? Yeah, it's become smoother. Yeah. You can play around. You like me? I want the light to come from the left hand side, like the left the corner side, around like this 125-degree. So the intensity, just play. It depends on what you are working on, basically. I want to be more of darker stuff, so that's ambient light, increase the ambient light, spectacularness. So the bevel, all of these tools have their way they works, depends on what you are working on. Now the perspective also. Now let's the perspective. Let's try the perspective for the topmost part. Yeah, enable it. So now you can try and move. Maybe you are trying to make it something form, maybe it's on something vertically, maybe 3D, almost 3D form. So maybe you're working on something like 3D. So you want it to test, maybe assuming you're working on the designs that you don't want the test to be vertically. Something like, when you're looking at a wall, maybe your design is something like it has a vanishing point, something like a perspective, a linear perspective. So you can just play around this. If it's something like a linear perspective where everything is pointing towards one direction, you can just do it like anyway, you just manipulate things. Assuming it's just something like a wall. Oh my god. Maybe it's something like a wall. This is how we play around it. So let's undo it. Let our 3D rotate x-axis, y-axis. So that's how it works. Maybe as time goes on, when we're making our flyers, we're making use of some of these icons. Some of them we might not really use them. So 3D text. So the text become a 3D version. It is with the background there is not allowed. Okay. I think you're going to notice something. Let's change the color to something. Let me try and remove the background color. Yeah. Although most of these, the way they work, okay. Yeah. Discover that it's now in 3D form. So let's play around that 3D stuff, 3D text again. The depth, trying to reduce the depth. The depth color is also here. Now I'm coming. You just play around some stuff, make it in the perspective form, in a big form. The angle. I think it's better if you just like Just play around. Depend if you are working around this. Maybe as time goes on, we are using them in flyers. We are going to explain this better. So let's undo. I've explained the okay. Now we move on to 3D shadow. The shadow is going to like the shadow is going to be on at the bottommost part, so it won't affect others. When we're dealing with the outermost shadow the other time, that you just can't beat. They have their own shadow. The person will also have their own shadow, but for the 3D, their shadow will be differently. Like it's going to be at the bottommost part. So reflection for it to reflect, like what you have at the bottommost part to reflect underneath. This is how reflection works. This is how reflection works. That's all. I think with this, we've come to the end of the formatting test format. So move on to the next one in the next video. Thank you so much.
Kindly subscribe, like, and share.